Well, I get a call yesterday. I worked on this a week ago, 6 days ago. And she's called back, and it was demonstrating the same exact problem she had the first time. And I'm completely, well, at least on the phone, I was completely baffled by this. So the initial complaint was it was leaking gas and it was hard to pull. Well, when you hear that, you know that the carburetor's leaking at the needle valve at the float. I think I have a float here. So this is a float, and right in this little section right where my thumb is a little needle valve that pokes out of that. So when the float goes down, gas comes in. When the float goes up, the gas stops because that needle valve presses up against a seal. So anytime I have a leaky gas or carburetor, I always replace it. I just don't want to risk it. I mean, I could probably clean it, fix it, and rebuild it, but, well, one, it's cheaper to just replace it, and two, it gives me some assurance that I'm not going to mess something up. And you find one with good reviews, HIPAA or something like that. So I put another one on, and I told her when she came to pick it up that when you shut it down, be sure to shut the gas off, keep pressing the trigger on your wand so you don't burn up the engine, and let it die. That's the best way to shut it off. So she called me up yesterday and says, I did exactly what you told me. I shut the gas off, I held the trigger, and let the engine die. Well, I was kind of thinking, since the things are too close together, maybe she shut the choke and it died. She didn't shut the gas. So this is the run position. The gas is open, the choke is open. This shuts the choke, this shuts the gas. So I was wondering if she got confused. So when she got here, I said, can you just, without even looking at it, tell me which one's the choke? And she said, that one's the choke. So she had the choke, and I was trying to be polite. I said, I hate to quiz you, I just want to make sure we got everything right, and so I know where to look. And she said, no, this is the shutoff for the gas right here. Okay. But, she still could be confused. I don't know, but I trusted her. So I brought it down here, and I took the bowl off the carburetor. Well, actually, I just let it sit here with the gas open, and it didn't leak. So I took the bowl off, and I played with it. Everything seems to be working fine. Except like I had to change the oil, and I had to dry out the cylinder, and I put it all back together, and it runs. It's not leaking. It's been sitting like this since yesterday. It's not leaking gas. So why is it leaking on her? I mean, I've started it several times, trying to duplicate it. I rock it back and forth. I lift it up, trying to get it to leak, and it just won't leak for me. So I thought, well, maybe it's the vent on the gas cap. So I tested the gas cap vent, and it vents. It's working. Okay, so that ain't it. I have no idea what it is. Well, then I got to thinking about it. So if she shut the gas off, then there is absolutely no way the gas can get into the carburetor. So then, you go back to, well, she must not shut the gas off. She must be fibbing to me. But she seems like a polite lady, and I'm really having a hard time believing that she didn't shut the gas off. So something, let's just assume she shut the gas off, is forcing gasoline past the shutoff valve, which is just absolutely insane. Now, I understand that on the float, that, it doesn't take a lot of pressure to push this down. So it's sitting in the bowl, floating on gas, and if there's some pressure behind it, that's going to push it down and open that valve, the needle valve back up. It just probably wouldn't even be a quarter of a pound of pressure, and that would just sink. So I'm assuming that that is what is happening, and somehow this is getting pressure behind it. So that's why I checked the vent on the gas tank. But you're telling me there's so much pressure that it's bypassed the valve, the shutoff valve? I just find that a hard belief. So I did Google that, and it is possible. If you get that up to about 10 pounds, it will bypass. You know, gas will slip by it. It's not designed to hold a lot of gas back. Well, that takes me back to the gas tank vent. But it's working. The only thing I can think is she's leaving it out, sit out in the sun, and the vent is getting too hot and it's swelling up or something, and it's not working. But I don't want to go out and buy a new gas cap, because if that's not the problem, then I'm just out there wasting money, and you know, she's just going to be nickeling and diming this thing, trying to figure out what it is. So I just come up with a simple solution. I cut the gasket on this. I don't want to take it apart, but there's a small slash on the gasket now underneath my clamp here. So I put down some fuel resistant Permatext. It's the gray container squeeze sleeve thing, and I put the gasket on. I just did this a few minutes ago, and hopefully that'll glue it down enough so she doesn't have to mess with it. But that will vent it. No matter what happens to this vent, that gasket has got a cut in it. It's going to vent now. So it's not leaking gas, because I played with this for several hours trying to get it to, you know, leak gas out of the gas tank. So hopefully this will work. That's the only thing I can think it is. There's no other explanation. But as you can see, my paper is still dry, and I've taken I've shut it off. I've let that float sink and come back up, and it just, nothing is making it leak. So I don't understand it, just as much as I don't understand people. I've said this, I'm sure I've said this in previous videos. I don't recall a specific time I said it, but it's such a problem. I'm sure I've mentioned it. Sunday callers. It's not that I care that people are calling me on Sunday. I really don't. You know, in the busy season, if somebody from Kansas City says, hey, I'm heading home, and I'd like to drive by and drop off my mower before I go on home to Kansas City, because they have second homes down here, can I just drop it off and you can look at it over the next couple weeks? Sure. And you know, it's not a big deal. They drop it off and I forget about it. But it's these guys, you know, they call and they want something specific. You know, one time somebody showed up on a Sunday afternoon, and Carolyn was just barbecued brats. We're eating. And he shows up and says, yeah, I need to buy some fuel line. Got any? No, it's Sunday. Shop's closed. Yeah, it's only going to take a few minutes. Just give me some fuel line. No, it's Sunday. You know, they're so demanding on Sundays. I don't get it. You know, I had one call, message me last Sunday. He was a previous customer, but he was polite. It was a text message. I could respond to it if I wanted. I could say, hey, can I get back to you on Monday? It would have been fine. But this guy calls and says, I answered, you know, my company name. And he says, is this so-and-so? My name, you know, he referenced my name. I said, yeah, this is him. Yeah, I got a generator and a pressure washer. And I was wondering if you'd take a look at it, see if it's effing worth fixing. Well, so that means he doesn't want me to charge to take a look at it. So he's already expecting it to be a free diagnostic. Now, I don't go around advertising free diagnostic. I don't go around advertising my prices. So usually, 90% of the time, if somebody calls and they want a specific price, I'll say, bring it in, I'll take a look at it for free diagnostic, and I'll let you know. But I would hope that that's not getting around. I mean, it may be. I'm sure some troll's going to say, oh yeah, everybody in town knows it. I don't think everybody in town knows it. But it's pretty obvious this guy, you know, he's been hung over for about 6 weeks. Yeah, just real deep voice, and he's just got that attitude. You can tell. He's somebody special. So it's Sunday. So I said, well, yeah, there's a few things here that I want to discuss with you. He said, okay, yeah, what is it? I said, well, I don't work on generators, because he had a generator and a pressure washer. Oh, okay. And I said, I don't work on Sundays. Oh, okay. And I don't work for people who use the F word within the first few sentences. And I started to say, have a good day. And he hung up. I just don't even understand the mentality that you're just going to be abusive on a Sunday when you don't even know the guy. I don't know you, but you're going to call on a Sunday. You're going to put your foot down. I'm going to have you work on my stuff for free. And then I'm going to cuss at you while we're doing it. And I understand that many people in the comment section seem to think that that's just normal conversation nowadays. And it may be. But what I have noticed is if they're using it in normal conversation, they are difficult customers. If they are a Sunday customer, they are difficult customers. Now, I take that with a grain of salt because the Kansas City people usually aren't difficult customers. They call and say, hey, can I drop it off? Because they're kind of in a situation and they're just hoping I can bail them out. They're not difficult. But if they're not from Kansas City and they're asking questions like, yeah, you're just going to do this for free, okay? You effing understand me? Then you know that it's just going to go downhill from there. And so I just don't take the customers. It's kind of my own written policy. She sure doesn't like me making videos. I think she thinks I'm yelling. Of course, Carolyn's cooking, so that might have something to do with it. She can smell cooking food 6 miles away. I don't set standards for people any higher than what I set standards for myself. I don't cuss at people. If I don't know you, I don't cuss. I don't cuss in public. That's just a rule I've got. I don't cuss in public. I don't cuss on video. You know, I'm a conservative, you effing telling me you got to beep the whole thing. You're not a conservative. Conservatives conserve things. They conserve their speech. They conserve their money. They conserve their life. And if you gotta be flamboyant and showing everybody how tough you are by using these cuss words, you're not a conservative. You know, just because you support this particular president doesn't make you a conservative. I don't consider him a conservative. The conservative movement, where is it? I don't know. The world's gotten out of hand. They've all gotten an attitude and they all think they know best. Well, I don't need that difficulty in my life. I don't want it. And you know, today I was researching again, trying to figure out how I can go about taking customers in about 4 years and doing the service for free, or the repair for free, and making YouTube videos out of it. Trying to figure out the vocabulary for the warranties. You know, it's going to be as is. There is no warranty. I get a choice whether I get to work on it a second time or not. If this $1,100 pressure washer that I'm waiting for, you know, there's a $625 OEM part or there's a $200 aftermarket part. We're going to put a $200 aftermarket part on that, but the customer approved it. But if I'm doing it for free, I'm just going to put the aftermarket part on there. I'm not going to ask the customer. Of course, I know the trolls are going to say, well, it's their equipment. They should get a choice on what they get. Well, if they're going to get it for free, they don't get a choice. It's my choice now. I'm paying for it. It's mine, right? I'm giving you something. It's a gift. And today's society just doesn't understand that. So I asked AI, well, let's assume I have a great warranty. It's legal proof. And you can take it to a judge and the judge is going to say, yeah, there's no expectations here. Well, just doing it for free, apparently, doing it for free, all of a sudden reduces my liability of warranties and all that to nothing. The judge is going to look at the customer and say, get out of here. You have no loss of damages. You didn't lose anything. You had a pressure washer that wasn't working, and you have a pressure washer that isn't working now. Nothing's changed. You didn't pay for it. But they said, AI said, I can still expect people to call and say, yeah, you replaced a pump on my $1,100 pressure washer and today it blew up. That's your fault. You're buying me a new one. Okay, so I'm buying you a new one. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. I'm going to take you to court. Well, you can take me to court all you want. You ain't going to win. I didn't break it. I can prove it. Pumps don't affect lack of oil in the engine. So they'll get on Facebook and they'll blast me. This guy's a terrible mechanic. Of course, they won't mention that it was free. So the first thing I got to do is reply, well, you didn't pay for it. It was free. You signed a contract waiving all warranties in exchange for free work. At which point people are going to say, well, you get what you pay for. So, but that's what's interesting, is even AI recognizes that people are so evil that if you do something completely free, they'll still complain. The world is just insane. So if you'll click this up next box, take the video over my other channel, really appreciate it. Go check it out. So I hope I can inspire you. Don't cuss in the first few sentences of a phone call of a person you don't know, so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.